running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys round here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back and shoot her back and shoot her back. I'm one of them boys round here, drinking that ice cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys round here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs.
Blake Shelton on Real Country. Looks like Blake will get together with Brad Paisley. They're going to host the Grand Ole Opry's 95th anniversary on Valentine's Day. Here's Tracy Lawrence now.
She knows every move that a man could make. She knows every trick in the book. She knows how to give. She knows how to take. But so many times she's been taken a fool by those alibis and lying eyes and all the best lines. Lord knows she's heard them all. She's been cheated on and pushed around and left alone. Lord knows what I've put her through. And boy, you can bet if a move can be made, she knows how to make one on you. She once thought that love wasn't just a game. Her feelings once came from the heart. One day I gave her a wedding ring. Then one night I tore all those feelings apart with my alibis and lying eyes and all the best lines. Lord knows she's heard them all. She's been cheated on and pushed around and left alone. Lord knows what I've put her through. Boy, you can bet if a move can be made, she knows how to make her own alibis and lying eyes and all the best lines. Lord knows she's heard them all. She's been cheated on and pushed around and left alone. Lord knows what I've put her through. And boy, you can bet if a move can be made, she knows how to make one on you.
92.5, 96.5.
Real Country.
I fall to pieces each time I see you again. I fall to pieces. How can I be just your friend? You want me to act like we've never kissed. You want me to forget, pretend we've never met. And I've tried
Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM. And also online at mykcr.org.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the Y. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
World, man, it's quite a world. All right, folks, this is Thunder Thursday. Holy cannoli, we're here.
You just woke me up, Tom.
Good morning, Don Williams.
It's great being here. Thank you again for the invitation to co-host.
I listened to the show last week. I couldn't make it. I was down. We were handing out 175,000 masks, 150 adult, 18,000 children's, and 7,000 N95s to our Rotary clubs who distributed those masks all over the Hudson Valley. And but I did happen to listen to the show.
You care not to repeat what you told me that same morning on the telephone call.
No, I told you did a great job. I thought it was great. You had a certain yeah, I did. But I can't. I'm not sharing that on the air. But no, it was you were fantastic.
I have to admit two things. First, it is much more difficult to host than to be a guest.
Yeah.
And part of that is, the second thing I was going to tell you is a good friend of mine who I will not mention Ian Harwitz's name.
He'd be great.
I think it was because I mentioned something about him having to shop at Small World. But Ian and one other said that I tend to talk too much, Tony, so.
Well, no, but when you're by yourself, when you're doing this solo, which you did, I know Lawrence was helping and pitching in. You had some great guests. John Masurgeon, I heard that rapport that you got the Armenian background was very interesting.
Well, I guessed. I mean, any name IAN,
right?
It's an educated
good
guess.
And the interview with Joe Deegan went great. That was good. And did you not have an 8 o'clock guest?
No, we did.
You did. Who was the 8 o'clock guest last week?
Paul O'Neill.
Oh, Paul O'Neill.
I'm having a.
Oh man!
I should not say this. I'm going to get.
I got.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, don't say it. I got to go back and adjust the YouTube because I didn't watch the whole show, but I kind of took snippets, so I missed Paul. Paul's great.
It was great to see Paul again, and as we explored in detail, Paul and I were almost attached at the hip for many years.
He's a great guy.
He does, what a great job he does.
You know, back in the day, I remember when Rich Matthews was in that position for many years.
It was an entirely different position back in the days of Bob Jordan and Rich Matthews.
Yeah.
Two really good people,
Great
but it
people.
was an entirely different position.
Yeah. It was.
Paul really has done a remarkable job.
Yeah.
And interesting, the stories without violating my oath to Ian.
Right.
Is Paul would travel to other counties and meet with other commissioners, and he would explain to them that there are jurors that are repeat jurors that come back and want to waive the 6-year void that they're not required to serve again for 6 years.
They volunteer, essentially.
They volunteer to come back.
Wow.
And that's almost like volunteering to give blood, which is
a colonoscopy or something.
I wasn't going to go that far because I am 7 years overdue for that. Thanks for that reminder, Tony.
That's my healthcare background. What can I say? Yeah, no, it's. I'll say it's an unsung job. You know, I mean, it's in terms of the whole judicial system is, and some people loathe. They get the notice that they have to show up to serve, and they like get an anxiety pall that goes over them. It's like,
it's not being informed of what's going on.
Right.
It's also the lack of understanding of exactly what's anticipated, and Paul said the waiting around.
Yeah.
So the sacrifice I made wasn't a great sacrifice for me. I got on the bench as soon as they were available.
Right.
And the lawyers were the ones that had to make sacrifices. So the lawyers...
Well, they deserve that.
No, that's a tough job.
No, it is. No, I know.
Murder or rape.
Yeah,
that's a tough job, but no one forces we lawyers to take those jobs.
Yeah.
So, I would not allow the jurors to wait. And if they had to, if something came up that required it, I would explain to them what was occurring. And that's all they needed. And Paul was there to do the same thing. It was...
especially I think in today's world, and maybe it's changed, maybe it hasn't, I don't know. I think people come with certain biases. I think, in my opinion, fairly unusual, maybe I'm 100% wrong, that people come with a blank slate. But that's the job, right? I mean, that's the job. You need to come with not blinders on, but a fairly wide scope.
You have to make a promise under oath.
Yeah.
That you will listen to the case and make your decision and put aside any prejudices you have, any emotions you have, and you know how hard that is to do.
Oh, man,
in an allegation of a child abuse case or domestic violence or rape.
Yeah.
But people do it, and they take it seriously. It really is, out of all that is said bad about the criminal justice system, some criticisms are accurate, many are misinformed or misguided, but the one thing that is really remarkable is the job that those jurors do and how seriously they take it. When at the end of a case, after all the proof is given, after summations and opening, I have to give what's known as legal instructions. Right. And I have little discretion in what to say.
Right.
It's from cases, but it's about an hour to an hour and a half of complicated legal terms that I attempt to explain.
But in laypersons, if you can, right?
Which I can, but you have to be careful. If you deviate from what the standard is, you're getting... I still do it, but I do it based upon case law. Yeah. However, these people understood it. Tony, and I'm telling them things that, candidly, some areas of criminal law are so complicated, yet they understood it because I would go back after the verdict and they were right
Maybe
on
because
it.
so many TV shows out these days.
The TV shows are not even close.
They're
the closest one was Law and Order.
Oh, yeah.
That's the closest to reality.
Okay, that's good.
They actually did two.
About SVU.
Two of my cases, I don't watch anything. I would watch it for 20 minutes. I have an urge to go directly to my bathroom and regurgitate. But Law and Order, two of the cases I had as one as a young assistant, one as, I understood, were on law.
No kidding. Oh, the subject
Yeah,
matter was? Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. But my guess is, and it's an interesting subject to me, part art and part science in terms of the selection process. Maybe there's no art, maybe it's all science in terms of the selection process. You know, I'm a prosecutor, which you were. Let's say you're a prosecutor, I'm in defense. We have different agendas, right?
You're looking for the way you're taught in law school, which is partially true, a lot of it's inaccurate, is you're looking for certain groups of people. And what happens, the jury selection process, and I'll do this as quickly as I can.
No, this is interesting stuff.
The pool, the 125 people that are brought in on a serious case to be questioned, that's made randomly by the commissioner of jurors.
Right.
He or she will then interview them beforehand to ensure that they're qualified.
Wow.
And allow some people to go if there are extreme hardships.
Right.
Then I will do instructions to them, explain a little bit about the case, generally the rules that we have to follow.
Right.
When I'm done, then the lawyers get to ask questions. But the way I do it is I know that I can limit
the questions.
I can limit as long as I've covered those areas they're going to cover.
Right.
I can limit their questions.
Yeah.
So I would limit each lawyer to 10 minutes of questioning, and I would stop them thereafter, especially if they were repeating my. But then after all of the questioning of the jurors by me and also the lawyers, depending upon the level of the offense, how serious it was, they have things called preemptory challenges, which is, in essence, they can come up to the bench. I don't make them do it in front of the jurors. I could, but I don't. They come up to the bench and say, I'm asking that juror number 7 be removed, and they don't have to state a reason.
Give an answer.
They don't have to state a reason. And what occurs is then prosecutors will attempt to remove those prospective jurors that they believe are not prone to convict.
Right.
Defense attorneys will remove those people they think are prone to convict, and there's a lot of stereotyping, jobs, things of that nature. And at the end, the theory is when you go through all of these challenges, you have a group of 12 people and
that
2 or more alternates that are in the middle. That's what you want. Ones that will take their oath, follow the law, even if they disagree with the law, and a group that are in the middle.
Not be predisposed, right? To
everyone's predisposed.
Right.
You know, and you are predisposed. You have to take an oath that even if you have predisposition, you can put that predisposition aside and make your decision based on an evaluation of the facts, which they do, and follow the law that I have to instruct them.
Right.
That's hard to do.
So one of the best movies of all times about this, 12 Angry Men. Right, the classic. I mean, from a legal standpoint, I'm not sure how accurate it is from a, in this, but the movie itself is just a compelling story.
It's an incredible story.
It
truly is. And I've seen that happen.
Yeah, you have.
I'm never as a prosecutor. Yes, but you're never in the room. You're not allowed in the room. You're not allowed. The deliberations are secret. And the sanctity of that secret deliberation, I will not ever violate. When I went in to speak to jurors afterwards as a judge, never did as a prosecutor, as a trialer, never. But as a judge, I would go in to try to answer their questions. I would not ask them questions. It's not right for me to do that.
My ex-wife was involved in one, you may recall, you may have even prosecuted, but I'm not even sure. Had something to do with the recovery room bar right near the hospital. There was, I think there was a
conspiracy to murder his wife.
I think so. That one.
I don't have the same. I'm no longer on the bench. So I could.
Right. She was on that one.
Wow.
Yeah, she was on that one.
Mike Kavanaugh was the trialer.
Yeah.
I tried the companion case. Which was Willie London.
Oh, right.
Who actually went into the Promised Land bar during dinner.
Right. And
had been contracted to shoot
a hit. Right.
It was a hit.
It was a hit,
and he fired We still don't know exactly how this happened. He fired a round from a sawed-off shotgun and he didn't hit the target. Tragically, another person lost their lives. And what I remember about that, Tony, and you talk about watching CSI.
Yeah, right.
And they have all of the forensics and sophisticated that within an hour they can find a hair on a wall that demonstrates guilt and innocence. That doesn't happen in the real world. But what I remember about that, within an hour and a half after the shooting, the Promised Land was reopened for
Oh, my God.
It was reopened to the public.
Oh, my gosh.
That caused some problems later for the prosecution, but
Holy
we managed to get
crow,
through it.
You got to be kidding
So
me.
that was the companion case.
Yeah, oh, interesting. I didn't realize they were connected. That was, and I have to tell you, and she was, we're sharing a bed, and she didn't say boo. She said, "I can't tell you. I can't share one word." I was like, "What?
Astounding.
Are you kidding me?"
It truly is astounding.
So yeah, and I'm sure to this day she'll remember that whole process.
And there really is a moral to this story, that the people that are so critical about this system, there are parts of the system that have to be changed, had to be changed.
Right.
But the people that are critical of the system most frequently are not the people that have participated in the system.
Yeah.
And it's not the system, it's the players in the system.
Right.
And if you get the players right and they really care about what they're doing, then the system
You get a good
does
product.
work.
Yeah, interesting. All right, so we have a kind of a cool show today. All right, we have Bob Ryan, a local.
Is it Bob or Bobby?
Well, I think he's changed.
I think Bob Ryan is just he is a great human being.
He is.
Really
We'll have to ask him.
So funny.
Everybody kind of goes through some name changes over time.
Yeah,
but
I used to be Donnie. Do you know how?
Yeah, no, I know.
Donnie.
But that's when you were point guard in the Kingston basketball team, right?
That's when my father, God
But
rest his
that's
soul,
not
was still
unusual.
alive, and he was a Don Senior, so I was Donnie. But that sticks.
Yeah.
Which is not a problem.
Kid names kind of stick. There's a whole nother story here. Maybe we'll have him on the air sometime. Frank Guido, Butch Guido, about nicknames. And down in East Kingston, down there off of Delaware, the Italians were famous for having. He in the book he wrote. They're hilarious.
I have his book and I
Chicken.
haven't read it yet.
Oh,
It's
you got to
still in
read
the
it, man.
back of my car.
You got to read it. It's hilarious. I didn't grow up in Kingston, but if you grew up in Kingston, you probably know the names. The names are the nicknames they gave were crazy.
Butch used to date my older sister.
No kidding. Oh, we'll have to have him in.
He's a great guy.
He's
I
a
love
classic. He's amazing icon in this area.
Anything he touches turns to gold.
Well, he's struggling. A lot of the restaurants are struggling during the pandemic here, and but
when
not.
are we going to get you to the Canard? Lawrence and I go.
Yeah,
great place.
I
good
can show
food.
up there. Yeah, well, let me know.
Food. You have to deal with John Jacques.
No, he's cool. I love John Jacques. He's got a big French.
You don't know him
personality.
as well as I do.
No, I'm sure. No, but I
has
love
a
his
huge-
personality. He's such an
makes the
extrovert.
place.
Yeah, he's such an extrovert, and he's got the food quality is great.
Food is amazing.
So yeah, no, we
pizza.
go there. Not
Lawrence will have to drag him in.
Yeah. No, I'm.
Yeah, go Thursdays. He's not around. He's not around a lot on Thursdays. He's usually in the city.
Well,
or
we
something.
should not
That's
do
not-
that.
yeah,
He's
the
a
guy
great.
is-
He's
the
a
guy
great
is
character.
amazing.
He's a.
No, he is. He's good.
He's a
No,
character.
he's great.
He really is.
The food
Look,
there
he
is
can't. How
impeccable.
long has he been doing this? For 30 years?
33.
Has he been there that
33 years.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So you can't. You can't fake it for 30 years.
No,
you
he's
really
special.
can't.
His food is special.
And it's so the place is unique. I think it's one of the best restaurants in Kingston, like top 2 or 3, in my opinion.
It's rated.
Yeah.
At least if you believe some of these ratings,
Top.
it's rating top. I think
All over the
French
place.
restaurant north of New York City.
Yeah.
And he does compete.
No, I know. So he's amazing. So we went from Bob Ryan to Jean Jacques.
Yeah.
To Frank Guido in between. So Bob, AKA Bobby Ryan. So he's 7:30 coming in a little bit, and then we have Vince Bradley, who is the, I'm not sure exactly, it's the czar of the State Liquor Authority.
Right. He's the head of the State Liquor Authority. I don't know what his title is. We'll ask him.
We'll have to ask him, don't call me late for dinner, something like that. I don't know.
No, I don't think
I don't think that's it.
he works for Governor Cuomo.
Right, exactly. And then at 8:30 we have Jess Davis from the Ulster County Chamber of Commerce. She's going to come in and just give us a little update on local businesses, small businesses, who's upcoming in the chamber, and they're still trying to remain relevant during the pandemic. And so a quick story about restaurants. My sister and I went down to Arthur Avenue to pick up the sausage casings for the super sod that we made on Saturday at my sister's house. Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was a blast. And so homemade
casings,
one. Oh yeah, they stink. No, they're like cows' intestines, pigs' intestines, I think.
Yeah, my son, the vegan, is so happy with you right now.
Well, yeah, no, forget that. That's So you got to pass. You got to get beyond
but if
that.
An animal is taken, you should use
honor
all of it. Yeah,
we
honor
did
it by using all of it.
We did.
Correct.
So, but we went down, and all the just cheese store kind of empty. With the Calabria pork store kind of empty. The big market,
the bread,
the Madonna bread. I mean, my God, Don, I got a loaf of olive bread, black olive bread. I am savoring that to the last, and I'm not a huge bread guy, but man, that bread, when you cut a slice of that bread, the olives just fall out of it. It's.
Tony has remarkable bread that reminds me of my youth when East Kingston had the brick ovens outside, and they would deliver bread to certain people. The place on North Front Street, I cannot remember the name. That's so sad.
Bread place specifically for bread?
Well, they do other things also, sandwiches and that, but they have bread. Oh, it's Bread and Beer, I think it's called. Bread and Beer? It's a bar that serves draft beer.
Really?
And they sell bread, but this homemade bread is
delish.
Take a look. I think
we'll
it's
take
called
a look. Take a look.
So
fresh pasta you get. The place is just a little oasis of great food, amazing. Right by Fordham University, right?
Hasn't it shrunk? Not just for COVID, I believe.
No. I mean, that one is hanging in. As opposed to Little Italy in the city. Down by Lower Manhattan. Yeah, there's a huge. Let's say non-Italian influence, and that's mostly restaurants.
There's a great deal of Asian restaurants.
Correct. What
used to be Italian,
which is kind of cool stuff too. I mean, they'll have like eel, swimming in a little tub.
I happen to like eel. Not
you
when
do?
I don't like picking out the one I eat. That's a little over.
But the
top.
difference with in Arthur Avenue is that they have more places where you can, not restaurants, but shops where you can buy cheeses and supersod, and we got a delicious Italian sandwich. I mean, so the ingredients are all fresh. The butcher stores, they're so cool there, and the fish stores, they got like a big tuna hanging off the ceiling.
Sad.
It's a throwback.
It's sad we don't have. That is what I would hope
Kingston.
Somebody would
I
open
know.
up in Uptown Kingston.
I know.
I mean, the
I know.
Woolworths building,
I know.
which
Would
was
be
supposed to be something
perfect.
like that.
Oh man, it would be great.
That was what 5, 6, 7 years ago, and nothing has happened.
The
with
market
it.
down there in Arthur Avenue, you walk in and there's people rolling, guys,
Handmade
ladies,
cigars.
Yeah.
I was there once.
Yeah, it's great.
I went down with my brother-in-law, who I think right now is still on the lam from the feds, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But we had some of the hand-rolled cigars. It was just what a great place.
We went to Enzo's which is a little place right next to Dominic's, Pasquale's, all married. They're all one guy's names, right?
All end in vowels.
All end in vowels.
Now, I'm half Italian, so
I know
can
you are.
say that.
So the owner of Enzo's, or seemed like the owner, was absolutely spitting nails at the governor about New York City restaurant. He says, "How's the restaurants up there?" I said, "We're open." He started. He went nuts. He went nuts. The guy.
I remember watching, and I bounce back from CNN and Fox, and then sometimes I look at Spectrum, which is an interesting channel.
It is.
They were saying that the percentage of people that have tested positive at COVID was less than 2%.
Oh yeah, it's like 1.4. 1.4. Yeah, the
restaurants in the city are getting closed.
I'll tell you off the air what he said. I can't tell you on the air what he said.
Say it
Kind
in
of relates to
Italian.
your previous. No, I can't. It relates to your previous job a little bit. So he was super upset that, what's the standard? Why do the upstate restaurants get to stay open and the New York City restaurants are closed? Is it population density? There's nobody there. We ate in a patio that was enclosed and had heaters in it. It was about as big as the studio room right here. They had like maybe 4 tables in there. And he couldn't understand the logic why New York City restaurants were closed and upstate restaurants were open.
Well, and especially, I mean, it's sad that commentary came out to say the restaurants in upstate should not be open. Instead, the restaurants in the city should be open with certain restrictions.
Right,
And,
right, exactly. It's an insult to think that the restaurants can't figure it out. And I don't think anybody really knows, where you pick up COVID, right? Does anybody? There's no like.
Well, the tracing that they've done is 75% within the household. I don't know if those tracings are accurate or not, but the difficult part for me when it deals with politicians, politics very hard for me to swallow forever. Even when I was running for office every 4 years.
Right, you're not built.
But when the politicians are saying you must do this or you will suffer the consequences, and then they're videotaped, like the governor in California.
I know.
I will not
Big
mention
parties.
the governor
Right.
of New York.
Right.
In
Right.
respect to Vince when he's coming on.
Right.
But being at parties maskless.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the governor,
Do as I say, not as
governor
I
of
do.
California, who then
Yeah,
denied it. Have you seen that little music video they put out about that?
Yes. It was hilarious.
Comical.
It wasn't
Do you
me.
remember
It
the
wasn't
name?
me.
Is that the title of it? Because
Yeah.
I want to YouTube
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
For everyone that feels as I do and Tony does.
It was the same guy, I think, in all the parts.
Wasn't me. Yes,
it was the same guy in all the parts.
played a
It was
reporter interviewing,
hilarious.
and he played the
Yeah.
governor responding. It wasn't me. It is a
Right.
classic. Everybody should watch it. Maybe we should integrate it in some fashion today.
Yeah. So, all right, here he is, the man of the hour. You can sit on the bench
Bob,
there
would you
for.
like
You
us
can
to do this. Why don't you sit there?
Get your.
make sure we have social distancing.
You can get your.
Like a mouse. I'm finding my cheese getting back here.
It is a bit of a maze.
Right. But you
But
found
you know,
us.
Did you figure out that you just follow the KCR sides and arrows?
Right. Well, good morning. So yeah, these are new digs. You can get a little closer if you want to. There you go, and tip that
Hold
little
the mic
baby down a little bit. There you go.
You don't want to be within 6 feet of this head.
Yeah, that's good. So new digs,
Very nice.
different from the old digs,
Very nice. And parking, too.
and parking.
Look at that.
Right. You can not get ticketed. I think that's happened. Didn't that happen in the old place, Lawrence? A couple of folks got
A
ticketed.
few times. It
Yeah,
happened a few times. Hey, Bob.
I
Good to
was
see
the
you.
individual directing
Happy New
those
Year.
tickets.
Great. I think Harrington got tagged one time, and he was like spitting nails.
Oh,
man.
my
I
God.
actually-
He was
Veins
pissed.
were
I
popping out
drafted
of his
that-
head.
He was-
drafted that ticket personally on Harrington's car.
I thought he was going to
It's not
have, have another MI or something, man. He was. I said, calm down, brother. You got.
So I
It's
saw,
a quarter. Put it in the meter. Come on.
I saw the photo of you and Joe Deegan here a couple weeks ago. Are we on?
Yes, dear.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, this is now that
I'm glad you asked that question.
we should probably
We've had a couple of
on
faux
air.
pas.
You
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
turn around like Linda Blair and just look at the on air side.
So I saw
Yeah.
I saw the photo of you and Joe Deegan a few weeks ago. You had Joe here,
Yes.
and I
Come on,
the
let's-
photo. I said, "You guys look like you were twins." The two of you in here.
Follically challenged.
That's a polite way.
yeah.
That's what I said that Joe was follically challenged. I'm bald. I mean, and now I don't want to say proud of it, but I don't care anymore.
Well, why you look great.
Now, importantly, now that you know, I was waiting for something from you, but we go back a long time.
I didn't disappoint, did I, Don, when I came through the door?
No, I'm concerned with what follows next.
Well, you
I
got a
tried
half
to
hour to work on that, so.
I try to keep much of my
Off
life
the air.
private, Bob.
Off the
Or-
air.
The first thing no, it doesn't matter. I'm no longer on the bench.
Right.
Fair game.
Let it rip. But we have a couple of minutes or a minute to break, and then we can work out some of the rules about the on-air discussion and talk about rules.
Well, you've already
This is
sworn me to
fair game. This
secrecy
is fair
about Marmos.
Yeah, right. Forget that, man. That's That's a book that's got many chapters in it.
Before we break, don't you think that there's one question that has to be answered from Bob/Bobby?
Yeah, go ahead, ask it.
No, you.
Okay.
You're the man.
So, you were Bobby for 35, 40 years. Now you're Bob. So, which do you prefer, and how did that transition happen?
It still hasn't. I got a letter yesterday addressed to Bobby Ryan. I did. I swear I did. It was actually it was a thank you note from the People's Place.
There you go.
For a donation we made, and it was addressed, "Dear Bobby." I laughed.
Yeah, there you go. You can't once you can't shake it, man.
Bob now? Is that?
I don't really. As long I've been called a lot worse than Bob, Bobby, Robert, Junior.
Bob.
Yeah, So
I think Bob.
Bobby.
Right. Lawrence, let's take us to break. We'll come back with Bob, a.k.a. Bobby Ryan.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
100 years ago, there were 100,000 tigers in the wild. Today, there are as few as 3,200. The Earth's wild animals can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ruth Quick from Town of Ulster. I support Kingston Community Radio, and you should too.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
All right, we're back, folks. This is Thunder Thursday. How do we do that? I don't know.
It's just more or less. I actually play that type of music to sleep at night.
You do?
That is not a part of it. That could be the wake-up call.
Good morning, folks. This is Tony Marmo and
Don Williams. Or Donald Williams, or previously known as Donnie.
No, I think we're going with Don today, probably, or Donald, whatever you want. And we're joined by Bob Ryan. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
So thank you for joining us. And I don't know if folks know your background. Why don't you give a little blurb? Most folks know your background, but we have a varied listening audience. So some people may know you as Bob. Some people may know you as Bobby. Some people may know you as Mr. Ryan. Some people may know you as another word? I don't know.
He always made me call him Mr. Ryan. Maybe because I required he call me Judge. So.
Right. That's funny. Mr. Ryan is the one that's probably the hardest to get used to.
Yeah,
that really is of all of those. I was like, wait a minute, no, that's my dad.
Yeah, exactly. So, little background. So
I'm born and raised here in Kingston. I'm actually fifth generation.
Wow.
Here, and my kids are the sixth.
Generation. How far back does that go?
1851, I believe, is when on my mom's side, the Dwyer family emigrated. And I actually don't have as much history on my dad's side as I do on my mom's side, interestingly enough.
So you're with the Dwyers?
My mom was a Dwyer.
Fully Irish, Bob? Or
my four grandparents were Ryan, Dwyer, Falvey, and Matthews. I'll leave that up to you, Williams.
Wait a minute. Falvey could be some Roman influence. Falvey.
Falvio.
Not Flavio, Falvi.
Falvi, because I at the end. Come on, I mean, the Romans were in Ireland. I mean, they there's a lot
The
of
Romans
movies
were
about-
everywhere.
They were everywhere. All right, so back for
So I grew up here in Kingston, went to George Washington, then I went to Bailey, and then I went to Coleman High School, and then I went to St. Michael's College in Burlington, Vermont.
Oh, interesting.
All of which, I didn't think life would ever get any better than high school. And then I went to college.
How much skiing did you do versus educational work, let's say?
Well, by sophomore year, I had it figured out. You could have really long academic days on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Like 12-hour days.
Mondays and
then,
Fridays,
And then
no
Monday, Wednesday,
class.
Friday, just let it rip. Yeah.
I bartended Thursday nights,
Cool.
Friday happy hour, and Sunday nights, and had probably more money in my pocket than I did till I was 30 years old.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I bet you would have made a great bartender.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was
I bet you did.
It was like being
as
on.
long as it's not crazy.
Those shifts are great. They were great. Thursday nights, everybody likes to go out, but it's not a big night.
Right.
Friday happy hour, you're in and out, and Sunday night is probably
Right.
the best money making, because that's when all the bartenders go out.
And still a bit.
Oh,
was a
is
big-
that right?
All the weekend bartenders who made a lot, who are great tippers,
Oh,
would go out on
interesting.
Sunday night.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was,
You know, it's funny how that works. It's nothing in the middle. It's either the people in a particular industry give great tips or no tips or
Yeah.
very low tips. There seems to be nothing in the middle from what I
But
hear.
you got the overflow from the ski towns, right? The ski area.
yeah, it was a college. Yeah, I was in college. It was a
college
college town. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was what I did for
But
college.
on the way, isn't that on the way to Killington?
No, Burlington, Vermont, further
Oh,
up.
Vermont.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Oh,
How did you? I know it's in the family because I know you, but the listening audience, how did you get into this industry, the insurance industry?
Well, that was my father. My father started in Rosendale in 1958. He bought the Duffy Agency on Main Street in Rosendale and was in Rosendale until 66, I believe. He moved to Green Street here in Kingston. 101 Green, which is now Richie Merck's office.
Right.
Block from where I was born and raised.
Yeah. And then he moved down the street. He and my Uncle Bill, who had, was at that point in time was Ryan Bradley Kerr Delvecchia, which your next guest, I believe, is that Bradley's son, Vincent.
That's right.
And then they bought 115 Green Street, which is where Ryan Roach and Ryan is now. And when I started, that's where I started in 1985. I joined them there. And then we were there until I think 03 when we went to Schwenk Drive.
Bob, was it something that was in your blood from being a young kid, or was it something like what
Expected,
am I
maybe?
getting out of college with a liberal arts degree, saying what in God's name am I going to do next?
So when I graduated college, I interviewed with all the companies that came to college. I was very aggressive in my job.
IBM.
No, U.S. Shipping Lines,
Oh, my God. Interesting.
Lord & Taylor,
Ah.
and People's Express.
Wow. Remember People's Express? Holy
I
cannoli.
do not.
Yeah.
It was the airline. And it was, I wanted to go to work for People's Express because you did everything other than fly the plane and maintenance. One day you were the steward, the next day you were the luggage guy, the next day you were the ticket guy. But
Next day you were the pilot.
But you got to see, you would have gotten to see,
Express is no longer in business.
you would have gotten to see the country. I thought it was a great way to get.
first discount
they
airlines,
actually would
right?
fly you
You-
around.
you did everything,
That's
yeah.
great.
Weren't
But-
they one of the first discount
Yeah.
airlines?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that, you know,
Yeah.
away from the big, you know.
But I was not 23. You had to be 23 to work for them. So that didn't work out.
Okay.
And I really, if you look at me, I'm really not a Lord & Taylor kind of guy, all right?
I see the Ralph Lauren polo
Right,
pony.
you got
Amy has done a good job with me over the years, all right?
Right. Right.
So I decided to take a year. I went to the Cape for the summer and banged nails and worked on actually the Cape Cod and Hyannis Railroad and bartended again. And
Common theme.
That's a tough place for a young man
Yeah,
to live in,
yeah.
Cape Cod.
came back for a few months and helped build a house in the fall. And then I did what any young college graduate should do. I drove out to Utah to ski for the winter.
I was about to say grow up, but no.
Park City, where did you go?
We went to Snowbird, yeah.
Oh, Snowbird, yeah.
We had one of the guys I was buddies with, his brother was a chef there, so he got us. We started at the top, dishwashing. But if you
I'm sure you did some bartending there.
if you actually showed up to work every day, you move up the food chain pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I was bartending within a month of landing there. at the Cliff Lodge.
Right.
So it was a great winter, and
Snowbird, yeah, that's a great mountain.
and then my dad and I kind of cut a deal, and I came back in May the following year and started real life.
He wanted you
Yeah.
to come
Yep.
back and
Yep.
be part of the business that he built. That's really amazing.
It was a phenomenal experience. You know, my dad and I had very different styles. Yeah, he was an inside guy, numbers guy, very methodical.
Right,
and I was a little bit
knocking on doors.
more outside, and he gave
definitely a people person.
Thank you. He gave me a lot of rope, and every now and then he'd say, "Whoa, boy, come back, come back in here."
Pull him back. We're getting out too far.
But in your industry especially, I'm going to continue to throw softballs, but you have such a great sense of humor, but it's not a biting, cutting sense of humor. You really have compassion for people.
Well, I will say I've been blessed. One of probably the best skill I have in my life is my ability to get along with people, and that's all people. Thankfully, I'm as comfortable with the president of the bank as I was when I worked with the migrant workers on Davenport Farms. I could go up and down that, and it's natural. It wasn't fake, and that has served me well in life. Yeah,
And that's not just lip service. That's you. I can remember a couple of nights, again, returning to the Canard.
Where?
Yes.
Right.
Where your wife, who is an absolutely remarkable and beautiful woman, she really is, Amy.
She made one mistake, but other than that, she's a perfect woman.
We all tend to say that, but she's great. But I can remember discussing things with you about my personal life, difficult times, and you were great. You were absolutely fantastic. And
well, thank you.
Well, you balance that off with cutting me off at the knees with Irish wit. But I was,
You do know the sign of a true Irishman, don't you, Donnie?
Yeah.
Which is?
It's a man who can tell you to go to hell and have you looking forward to the trip.
There you go.
Now, I'm a quarter Irish. I should understand
you
that.
can understand that.
I should.
So let's get to some local stuff. What's your sense about? I mean, you've been involved in the chamber. You've been involved in a lot of stuff, business related stuff. What's your sense about what's happening in Kingston these days?
Well, I was very happy to see the Kingstonian get approved yesterday.
Yep.
I think that is going to be wonderful long-term for Kingston and Ulster County. So I'm really glad.
Congratulations to all the folks that worked hard on it.
And, you know, with Brad and Todd, I've known 4 generations of their family.
Right.
I knew their grandparents, their parents,
Yeah.
their generation, their kids. They're as solid as they come.
Talk about sincere people and in it for the right reason, right?
How much they give back to the community.
Staggering.
Most of which is done very quietly.
Yeah.
They are very below the radar
Yep.
about what they do.
Absolutely.
I don't think we could have better stewards for what they're attempting to accomplish.
How long? What do you see if you are close to that? How long do you think it'll take for them to actually start building?
A shovel in the ground?
Yeah.
You know, the pilot is one step. They still, I believe, have a lot of heavy lifting to do. You know, I'm not sure where SECRA's at and, you know, permitting and all that. So
I think they have, let's say, more months to, you know, you know, but hopefully maybe a shovel in the ground, you know, this is just my 2 cents about it. It has nothing to do with anything. Late fall, hopefully.
that would be very generous in my
That would be
opinion.
generous.
That sounds optimistic, but boy,
Yeah.
how
Well,
wonderful
you gotta
that
be
would be
optimistic.
to actually
So-
see something begin to
You know, some of the people who are don't like the idea of the pilot. I shared a story. I happened to participate in the redevelopment of the Hutton
Right.
building, right over there, and
To the medical office.
into the medical offices. And if it was not for the pilot, which we received to do the deal, if all we were trying to do was make money day one, we could have turned it into a boarding house. It was set up to easily be a boarding house.
Correct. Because they're
And
little rooms.
and that wasn't what
Nursing home
they all had bathrooms in them. I mean,
You're right.
we could have
Yeah.
done that, and that, you know, that wasn't our idea. And the pilot helped.
Vision, right.
The pilot helped us turn that into an asset. It's a beautiful, in my opinion, building. We're through the pilot and now paying $150,000 a year in taxes on that thing. So the pilot is a means to get to an end, which is a benefit for
And
the
a
community.
long-term view. I mean,
Correct.
you can't
A
look
long-term
at
view.
what's happening next year. It's the long-term. And I'm in the employment business, so I can tell you it's going to generate jobs. good jobs.
It's going to generate 10% of nice living space for affordable housing.
Right.
Apparently, that is in their plan even before the Common Council in the city is going to require it.
That is, yeah.
10%. That's a good thing.
And the other thing is, I know so many people, and you know, I don't know how we got to be the old guys, but we are now.
It's called age.
But I know so many people who are reaching the point in their life where they'd like to sell their home and maybe buy a house somewhere else, but they'd like to keep a place in Kingston, and what a great place to be able to do it.
Uptown, it's great for the businesses, the local businesses, the mom.
People can walk out to Donnie's favorite place, La Canard, you know?
Did I tell you when we'd be out?
I saw him there once, Tony.
Yeah.
Once or twice. I was having club soda.
Right.
Brown club soda. Wow, Don.
Oh, there was something else in it.
Must have been cream, that cream soda.
Yeah. Anyway, it's I'm one of those people. I mean, I have a choice now. My home is not huge. It has increased in value. I could sell it, but then where do I go?
Right.
So, I mean, it's too big for me by myself, but where do I go? It's either staying in this community at a place like what's happening, or I would be moving out of the state to avoid the taxes that are occurring here. And that's unfortunate.
Exactly. So I think it's going to provide that to a lot of people.
I hope so.
And I
put your order in. Scott Harrington was going to do that in the Kingstonian.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be filled rather quickly.
You know, I've been very supportive of the work that Rubco's done, the Lace Mill, the Landmark, all that, and I'm supportive of this. And it's where we want development to happen, is in the city of Kingston, where there is city water, there is city sewer. If we want to keep our green space green, that's how we do it. That's what a city's for.
Your partner in crime there a little bit, Joe Deegan, was on last week with Don. And, you know, he'll probably share the same sentiment, I think, right? I mean, it's the commercial market's a little wonky right now.
Yeah. A lot of changing, you know, going on. I don't think we're going to see the need for big office space, but I think you're going to see more small office space, makers, that type of stuff. Interesting, my neighbor, I live in Hurley now, and my neighbor out there are two young, and I say young, no, they are probably 35. I don't know how old they are.
That's
our kids' age.
Yeah,
right.
little old, and she is the CEO of a student loan company, but it's for makers. It's for people who want to become welders or go to plumbing school or whatever. So that's kind of cool. And he's in a Bitcoin, but they bought it as a second home, and they've been up here full time since February. And their kids are enrolled locally in schools.
Do they still have shop in high school?
That used to be what we refer to as BOCES.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I'm not sure if they do, but it's a
BOCES still definitely exists.
No, it does. But I was asking about in the high school.
Yeah, the shop class.
Part of an alternative schooling.
I don't know.
That's a good question. I have to ask somebody in the know on that one.
I think my mom still has the tray I made her in junior high school. I think my brothers and sisters are going to fight over it. I think, you know, when the time comes. You know,
is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
It was done that
well. Was that nice? Yeah.
So in your field, how has the pandemic altered or changed in the insurance world? Anything different?
We saw, I think everybody went into panic in March.
Right.
In every field, right? You didn't know what was going to happen. Did happen. Initially, we saw, a lot of the insurance companies step forward and were very helpful with payment options for people who were out of work. Some of the companies did dividends, some companies did rate reduction. So I was proud to see some of the companies step up and do what they did to help people through that time.
Sure.
We've lost some business. Some small businesses have closed. Truthfully, not as many as I thought would, especially the amount of time this thing has dragged on for.
Right.
People are very ingenuious.
They
really are. We had small distilleries we insure that pivoted to make hand sanitizer. Small manufacturers pivoted to making face masks and those shields you see when you walk into a store or something. So
that's a local story in Kingston. I can't remember the name of the place that's done that. They were in some manufacturing business and they flipped to make the guards, the face masks.
Yushiko down in Rosendale.
Yushiko, right.
Alethea, who just lost their founder 2 days ago, Bernie Schaefer.
Oh, no
96-year-old World War II fighter pilot, amazing guy. Just passed 2 days ago. So.
96.
Kingstonian? I know the name.
Rosendale is where they raised their family.
Okay.
I believe Bernie was from Michigan, but I'm reaching for that.
Great business that he started or he was involved is the same as today, other than the flip.
Yeah, his kids and his grandkids are running it now. Yeah, Alethea.
Yeah.
That's,
we're going to try to get her on as a guest, by the way.
She'd be great. She'd be great. Yeah. So.
So I'm interested because because of liability issues, and it hasn't really cropped up much, thank God, about the pandemic caused this to happen, and you have not seen that in terms of business fail. I mean, any liability associated with the pandemic? Have you seen any negligence? This is in his world now, but in Don's world.
Well, from a employer standpoint, workers' compensation will respond if somebody gets sick and it can be traced to COVID. Workers' comp will respond, so that's
no kidding.
A good thing. And interestingly enough,
it's got to be proven that it.
You have to be able to
prove that you got.
Right. Or the employer would have to be able to prove that it wasn't in the way the system works in reality.
Interesting.
But the other interesting thing that in New York, I can't speak for nationally, but in New York, the State Compensation Board passed a rule that says that will not affect your workers' comp experience because large employers pay their workers' compensation based on their experience, i.e. if you're paying $100,000 a year in work comp premium and they pay out $200,000 a year in claim, your experience mod will go up, so you'll pay more. Yeah. And they're taking this out of the equation because they're saying it's not really controllable, which was interesting.
Just a quick commercial. You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on 92.5 FM or 920 AM, or go on our website, mykcr.org, hit the YouTube button, and you can see the three of us. You're listening to Bob Ryan from Ryan Insurance, and this is Tony Marmo, and my partner is?
Donald Wayne. I don't frequently.
It's a quick commercial break. We like to do those, and we like to thank our underwriters for supporting KCR. You can go on mykcr.org and take a look, but they're all the blue chip companies in Kingston that really make this not-for-profit station happen. So, and we thank our listeners who send in money. That does happen on a frequent basis, and so that's how we pay the rent. That's how we pay insurances. That's how we pay Pamel Broadcasting to be on the air. So what else is on your mind about good things in Kingston?
I think when Broadway is done, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And
when is that going to happen?
Their time frame.
You're referring to Colonel Chandler
Drive and the whole. Yeah, I believe their official time frame is it's supposed to be done by November, but my understanding is they're ahead of schedule, which would be great.
How unique that is.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And they've kind of stopped working, right? I haven't seen too much going on. It's kind of winter.
Yeah, I don't know specifically. I mean, there's an awful lot going on in addition to the Rotary. There's an awful lot else going on there.
Right.
But
it's kind of cool to try to envision what that's going to look like.
One thing that I was disturbed. Do you remember that beautiful oak tree that was on the corner of? Why take that down?
We're like treeless in Kingston now.
I see what happened to Wall Street, which during Christmas time had those beautiful trees overlapping.
It's gotten defoliated.
I just read an article. They're going to do a lot of work. I believe it's Henry Street, I'm pretty sure. And that's part of the conversation is how to do what they're trying to do without taking all the trees down. So it's hard.
I get the fact that, trees pop up sidewalks. And
there are liability issues, obviously. But good Lord, to tear them. And I loved the mayor at the time. I will not mention his name only because I don't want to be critical of him. He was a great mayor. But whoever made that decision to remove those trees that had been there forever, and I imagine solely because of liability issues. There's got to be some way to get around.
The only place you see trees kind of sort of anymore is maybe in Brooklyn here and there. I don't know. Do you see trees in Brooklyn? No.
There's more reason for people to move.
No, they're moving up from Brooklyn
that's
up
the
to
point
here.
I was trying to make.
No, I get it. But No, I think, look, we need to go through every so often some upgrades, right, in the city?
Again, I'm not a urban planner, and I'm not a politician. I would think that and I'm a simplistic guy. I mean, that's truthful.
Right.
That there's probably 60 miles of road in the city of Kingston. Wouldn't you think we'd have a 60-year game plan that we're going to tear up 1 mile a year, and we're going to do new sewer, new water, new electric? I don't know.
It's logical, man.
Well, I don't know.
Too logical.
Some of the things it does. Some of the things I don't understand. Again, we approach things in a simple manner. When you've dug a road up to do the sewers that have to be done, I think they've been there forever. Why not bury the electric at the same time?
That's the same. And again, I'm not an engineer, but and probably it's cost prohibitive, but it would just long term it would
really
something would make sense. But
so
can I ask Donnie a question?
Yeah, you can ask Don whatever you want.
Get great. I've been winding up for this baby.
Yeah. Get at it, man. This is cool.
This is why I had some reluctance in accepting not-for-profit.
With your past experience as DA and as county judge, in light of what has gone on in the city of Kingston, with all the good going on, there's been some challenges over the last 2 years with the murders, and I'm asking: is it drug? Is it gang? Do you know? What's your thoughts on that?
I'm not as deeply involved as I used to be. As a judge and DA, you would know about these cases instantly. You would also know all of the facts even immediately afterwards. But in the limited information I have, it is drugs and gang related. And that should be no surprise to anyone that's been involved in the field of criminal justice. And I fear that much of the changes, such as bail reform, perhaps being lighter on individuals who are repeat offenders, not first-time or second-time offenders, repeat offenders, I believe that very progressive avenue in changing areas of criminal justice that had to be changed, it went too far. It became politically generated, and when that occurs, you're going to suffer the consequences. Now, I can't say that the 5 murders that happened in the city of Kingston since the end of 2019 are direct cause of that, but if you speak to people in law enforcement, they will tell you that it's just gotten a little too light. Yeah. Now, I'm not referring to the necessary drug rehab programs, drug court, community corrections, all of the great things that have existed for many years and can be enhanced. The change in attitudes of people that are addicts, it's a good thing, but there has to be a carrot and also a stick. And it appears now, for many different reasons, some of them are people that are in positions, which I will not discuss. That's inappropriate.
So you're saying more carrots than sticks?
You know, carrots are great things. You have to have the carrots. But if the carrot doesn't work, there has to be a stick. The one thing, Bob, that I saw frequently when I was on the bench was for somebody to come in front of the county court judge, that's not a first offender. It's not a second offender, unless it's a violent crime. Mm-hmm. These are repeat offenders that all of their areas programs simply didn't work. What would occur is, if they were addicted but selling drugs, not possessing them, selling them to other addicts. If anybody should know the devastation of being addicted to a dangerous drug, it's an addict. And those addicts would sell to other addicts. When it got to that level, it got in front of me, there has to be some consequence. And the people that we would send to the jail, which at that time did not have methadone, did not have other substitutes for the narcotic drug they were addicted to, for people like that would spend time in jail, as much as just 2-3 months, overcome the addiction temporarily, the reports I would get back from those people that I was holding accountable, not just me, the DA and other people, they would thank me. I was at a Hannaford recently, and a cashier said, "Judge Williams," I said, Yes, I said.
Yeah, that's always
And you never know.
So you have
Right,
50-50.
What she said, you saved my life.
Yeah,
And I
great.
said, "No, I didn't save your life, you saved it." But she goes, no, the time that she was in that cell, she overcame initially the addiction through going cold turkey, which is horrible. But she said, then, for the first time in my life that I can remember, I was sober, and I was able to look at my life.
Reflect.
And do I want, I now could look at it in a sober fashion, is this what I want my life to be, this 8x10 cell? And then she went out, she got a job. I was so happy and proud of her.
Absolutely. That's a
She
great
got
example.
She got a job. She now is a counselor to other people that are addicted. It's amazing. So
So
there
we-
has to be that stick.
Last minute, we have 1 minute, so you have it. Any final thoughts? And will you come back and visit with us on some occasion?
Absolutely. When I got the email.
Gotta bring a bartender.
When I got the email,
Donnie.
when I got the email, it was at 7:30 in the morning. I said to Tony, "That's a little early in the morning for a retired guy like Williams, isn't it?"
It was in bed at 8 o'clock last night. Come on.
I would just say,
Not exactly. Not exactly.
Appreciate the invitation
Yeah,
to be here.
thank you.
There's so many good things going on in Kingston.
Right.
And a rising boat will lift, or a rising tide will lift all boats.
Absolutely.
So I hope the momentum keeps going for everybody
Thanks
in
for all
Kingston.
you've done to assist that and your community spirit and what you bring to the table. We all appreciate. So we'll have you back on and say hi to folks.
All right, we'll do.
All right.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Lawrence.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Someone in your town, at your school, or where you work is suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They're dealing with excruciating pain and days when they can't even get out of bed. Chances are someone you know has Crohn's or colitis. Someone like me. I'm Amy Brenneman, and I'm asking you to support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America to help millions of us cope and to find cures. Visit ccfa.org today to learn more. Help someone you know get back to their lives at ccfa.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This programming is brought to you by the Friends of Kevin Cahill. As a strong advocate of local broadcasting, Assemblymember Cahill urges you to support Kingston Community Radio with your time and donations. Your contributions keep KCR vital and on the air at FM 92.5, AM 920, and on the web at mykcr.org. Please join Assemblymember Cahill and send your gifts of $10, $25, or more to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. Together, let's keep KCR alive.
It's great, especially for
All right, folks, we're back on. This is Thunder Thursday. I won't give the gravelly Thunder Thursday this time.
No, please do.
It's Thunder Thursday.
When I said please do, I was being facetious in that request. So, and it's Tony Marmo and
Don Williams.
Don Williams. What a great guest we have. I'll let you do the introduction.
Right, here comes the judge. This is the name of the subtitle of our show.
I'm not the guest. I'm referring to
Oh,
this.
yeah. No, we need subtitles. So we're joined by Vince Bradley, So a local, born and raised kind of guy, right?
Yep. Born, actually living in the house that I grew up in right now.
You flipped with your mom and dad.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
So-
my mom lives right next to the judge, so.
It's pretty incredible. Great
Connections, huh?
lady.
Yeah.
What a
Talk
great
about
lady.
6 degrees of separation of connection in Kingston. So we know you're with the New York State Liquor Authority. Don and I both were not sure about
The head.
Well, I know, but what is the position title? Because we thought czar, but that probably wouldn't be right.
No. Chairman.
Chairman.
Yes.
Chairman.
So it's a
Interesting.
I run the agency as the chair, and then there is a board made up of 3 commissioners, but the chair has the sole agency responsibility. The board meets a couple times a month. Well, actually, a lot more frequently now during
Zoom?
COVID.
Are you doing by Zoom?
Yes, but generally we meet 2 times a month to approve licenses and do violations and things of that nature.
And that's, you have the authority for the entire state of New York, including New York City, correct, Vince?
Yeah, approximately 75,000 licensees.
It's amazing. And obviously.
It's mind-boggling, doesn't it?
Unbelievable. I mean, that is, Vince he's brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say that.
Maybe not in taking that position.
Oh, yeah, right, exactly. I was there for about a month, and I didn't think I was too smart.
Has roots in this community, has a great background, assistant DA in Manhattan, did some major cases, and to return to the community and live here is just great. But to have that job, the responsibility of that, and you shrug it off. Many times we've spoken.
Which is to your credit, right?
It is. It is a credit. But give the listening audience, because we know about the State Liquor Authority, but I don't know if the listening audience truly understands everything you folks do have to do.
Well, we're basically the agency's in charge of any entity that traffics in, manufactures, delivers, sells alcohol. Alcohol is a controlled substance, obviously, and so in order to get in that industry in any capacity, you have to get some type of license. And we're responsible for doing the applications and approving, disapproving, things of that nature.
We have to take a quick birthday break. I'm sorry. I failed on my assignment here today.
Thank you for not blaming me.
No.
There's only one.
Yeah, there's one, and
does that mean that
let's see.
Vince has to do the solo happy birthday song? We won't do that.
Well, I'm going to let.
I wouldn't do that to the
Did it
audience.
to me once, and I left. So.
I'm going to let you read this, Don.
Great.
Please.
I have my glasses, so you're going to read
Is
it.
it 150s?
I don't know. Anything
Try
that
that.
helps.
Is there
So
magnifiers?
I'll be reading this.
They're magnifiers.
Is it?
Are they?
John Finch, yeah.
Well,
It
there's
says
a little
it's
intro.
It's a note from John Finch, and it states, I know that I am a little late, but if possible, can I submit a birthday wish for my father, Jack Finch? On Thursday, January 21st, he turns 93.
Holy
for him.
Thank you
cannoli,
so
man.
much, John. Is that the same Jack
Yes,
Finch
yes.
that taught me?
Yes.
Great
yes.
guy.
Jack Finch is a remarkably good guy.
Amazing.
Jack Finch, really, there were like 3 teachers growing up that had a great deal of do in directing me and shaping me. Jack Finch was
one of those
I was
guys.
not the most studious of people in grammar school.
We don't
or
want to
high
go down
school,
that
but,
path.
nah,
Basketball was kind of your thing.
Basketball was important.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Anyway,
Grades.
That worked
not
out
so
well
much.
for you, they see.
I
Put
did.
you
My
right in the-
lifetime ambition was point guard for the Knicks. No, it did not work out. well.
Right.
The only reason I kid you is I'm in the same boat. That was
Yeah.
my ambition as well.
So Jack has been, he is our sole birthday nominee for today. We don't have to put it in the randomizer because it's easy. So the winner of the delicious cow pie, everyone, has had a cow pie. If you live in Kingston and haven't had a cow pie, you're not living in Kingston.
And where would that be done?
That would be at 62 O'Neill Street in Kingston.
See how much better I'm
Yeah,
getting
you're
at
doing
this?
great, man. And so he can pick up his delicious cow pie. But the winner today is, that's, I'm getting ready for Saratoga, Jack Finch. That was the altar boy training.
I thought that might be the cowbell. Since
Well, this is the cowbell. That thing is really not worth anything. So, congratulations, Jack. He's like one of the great guys in Kingston, right?
And he's a young 93.
He is a young 93. He looks great. Although, yesterday I was talking to someone in our Italian organization whose mother-in-law is about to turn 107 in March. 107.
I should not say this, but I can't help it. Can you imagine having a mother-in-law that lasted to 107?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
Ouch.
Yeah. Well, she's amazing. A couple of years ago, she was at one of our Italian dinners down at Ship Lantern, and I think she was 104 at the time, and she's sculpting, she's clear-minded, speech, just like us. I mean, 104 doing pretty good. Now 107 almost.
Vince, your mom, how old is your mom now?
She is 80.
She looks fantastic.
Still going to the gym and getting around. I mean, obviously, COVID has knocked everybody back, but she's pretty active.
Wow. So back to the question of your profession. Your agency not only does licensing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure in the licensing for bars or restaurants, there always has to be a great deal of pressure put from area politicians.
We get some, yes.
Yeah. But you've handled that.
Those are the territory.
You've handled that remarkably. But in addition to that, you do investigations and, in essence, prosecutions, correct?
Yeah, we are also responsible for obviously regulating the licensees themselves. So we have a whole slew of violations that they could that they have to abide by the statutes. And we have an enforcement bureau with multiple, a couple dozen investigators that go around throughout the state. We basically operate during COVID, we're operating differently, but basically when it's under normal circumstances, we operate on a complaint-based system. So we get either a complaint from a local police department or a local citizen, and it can be anonymous. And our investigators then open a case, and they go out and visit the establishment, either undercover or disclosed, depending on what the complaint is.
And sometimes you do work with local or state law enforcement agencies. I mean, you stop and think about it.
95%.
How many?
95% of the complaints we get are referrals from law enforcement. And we got 75,000.
How many people in the state? How many businesses?
75,000 licensees, but some of that you have to realize is wholesalers, distributors,
But
manufacturers. It's about, I think it's about 35 or 40,000 retail outlets.
30 or 45,000 businesses that you have to
I mean, just think about Kingston. You can swing a cat and
Sure.
get a liquor license.
Yeah, right.
And you have roughly 24 investigators.
So
That's
I have
amazing.
a question about the advent over, I'll say the last 10 years of, not sure how long you've been doing this, distilleries, like the economic influence of that, and certainly these microbreweries that popped up, like, Kingston's got 2 or 3 of them, I think. And so that's been a proliferation that's happened, I think, prior obviously to the pandemic. Good for the economy, right? I mean, because it's creating jobs.
So how that came about is actually it started right before I got there. I've been there about 6 years, and really Governor Cuomo should get 100% of the credit for that. What he did was create licenses through using our agency that allowed they were much cheaper. For example, a farm brewery, a typical brewer's license is thousands and thousands of dollars every 3 years.
Right.
A farm brewery license is like $500 a year for 3 years. But along with that license comes a maximum production level, so it keeps it small.
Right.
But also with that license comes a lot of benefits that typical breweries don't get. For example, if you get a farm brewery, you can, at your brewery, automatically basically have a tasting room that not only allows you to serve the beer you make, but
Or cider, like hard cider is another one, right?
It also allows you to serve any New York-made alcohol product. So you could serve New York wines, you can serve other New York beers, you can serve any distilled product. So basically, you can have a bar at your brewery, and it's become a tourist attraction. Now, they did that for breweries, they did that for distilleries, and they did that for cideries.
Right.
We actually, since I've been there, we actually also made a meadery license, which is something the beekeepers wanted, and they actually asked for it. And it's the same thing. They get the same benefits. They also are allowed to self-distribute, which a typical brewery can't. They have to go through a wholesaler, and you have to find a wholesaler that'll carry your product. These guys are entrepreneurs. They will go out, distribute their product. They'll go to they bang on doors, basically go to restaurants. I know my aunt and uncle, when they were running the Hoffman House, when they owned the Hoffman House, they took one of the local breweries because the guy came in and brought his beer in and they liked it, and it was probably one of the most popular things they sold. They had Keegan's. No, this was another one that was
popped up recently.
Life is Good, I think it was called, or Good Life or something like that. It's over actually by my house. But it's a small brewery, and he's only been open probably 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. We went on the Schwangang Wine Trail a couple of years ago with some of the Rotary folks, and we stopped at what the heck's the name of that cidery down there? It's Sam Adams. It's one of the local ones, not Bad Seed, but something like that. It was
I've been there too. I forgot the name of it as well. Yeah, but that's actually owned by Sam Adams.
Yeah.
But they're enormously supportive of the cidery industry in that area.
Yeah, exactly.
They have people that come in, experts that allow the local cideries to test their products and things of that nature. So that was a great addition down there, and it's a tourist attraction. They get thousands of people down there.
The other question I had, Vince, was with regarding the pandemic and. It has to do with the one-off events. The festival events have just kind of disappeared. Last year it was
everything's
like
disappeared.
zero.
Weddings, you name it, it's disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and so that's obviously had an impact on your activity. Our Italian festival not there, the Hooli not there, da-da-da-da-da-da. So how do you, obviously you work closely with the governor's office about mass gathering rules, right? So any thoughts about 21? I mean, it's all up in the air still, you think? It's hard to say.
So I actually don't work with them in that respect, because everything that we're doing as far as limitations to bars and restaurants and gatherings of that nature, they're all coming directly from the Department of Health.
I see.
Okay. Which is who the governor's office is working with. Now we're being told what the limits are. They're basing it on talking to doctors and experts in the field.
Right.
And then we write our guidance based on those limitations. So I don't really have any insight because I haven't been talking to doctors, and I'm clearly not a doctor. So.
Good point.
It's amazing. A public official that is stating that they do not know that science. That's how refreshing.
Yeah, no, it's and we talk about the impact on economy around here of the festivals and the cheese.
What about just the impact it's had on you and your staff, Vince, with the enforcement?
Well, what happened to my agency when this hit was, as everyone recalls, the restaurants were all closed throughout the state.
Right.
And they were only allowed to do takeout, which that I was involved in, and that was actually something that was relatively stressful because I got a call early in the morning that there was going to be this closure and that they needed a statute that would allow these restaurants to do takeout alcohol, which is really something that had never been considered in this state, certainly since I've been there, that I'm aware of. I know other states do it legally year-round, like Louisiana, and I don't know if there's another one. But that was something we actually had to put together in a couple of hours, and having been in government most of my career, something like that would take a couple of years to actually to be hashed out. And so we had a couple hours to figure out, one, how to do it, and two, how to regulate it. And then we had to set up guidance for it for all the restaurants to know what they could do, what they couldn't do, and ended up, for the most part, working out well. And they're still allowed to do it. When the restaurants started opening again later in the summer, upstate obviously opened first, and then we moved downstate. The upstate part wasn't really problematic for us at all. They were on limits, first I think 25%, then 50% of what they could do inside. But once it hit New York City late in the summer, it kind of got out of control early on. So as I mentioned before, only have about 24 investigators in my agency to go in and try to control these.
75,000.
So what happened?
Yeah, right.
So what happened was, the governor recognized the issue that was developing and immediately set up a task force and put me in charge of it. That includes other agency investigators as well as the New York State Police. And what we started doing, particularly in New York City at the time and Long Island, was just going out every night with teams of investigators, and they were just patrolling and making sure people were abiding by their obligations under the COVID regulations, the executive orders. Initially, it was rough on the restaurants as well as us because we probably in a 10-week period shut down 150 or 200 of them. Now, just to give you an idea, during a year, a normal year, we shut down about 25. So we were doing meetings every day because every suspension requires us to do a hearing immediately in front of the full board. So we were doing hearings every day, and that requires lawyers, and they gave me the resources to do it, but it was rough. But finally, it was rough on the agency, and it's also rough on the restaurants because to get shut down like that right when you're allowed to open again, it kills you.
Kind of tanks the business. Pretty much.
But it did, I think, wake everybody up. And in New York City now, you see, if you go down there, you see that they're much more compliant. We still have issues, not necessarily in New York City only, though. Now we're finding them in Buffalo and other places. So since probably midsummer or late summer, we've shut down about 360. Now they get their licenses back, but they have to come and show us that they're going to be compliant, pay a fine.
They got shut down because of numbers, too many numbers, like 150 people or
what was happening in New York City early on was, and I don't know if you saw this in the press, they were literally in the streets.
Yeah.
And the restaurants were, it was
handing out.
Yes. And the takeout was supposed to be food with the alcohol and then go home. Take it with you and to go home. What was happening was you were having bars in the streets. Yes. But that like I said, that stopped pretty quickly, within a couple weeks. Now it's mostly if you're in an orange zone, you're not allowed to be inside.
The color zone is dependent upon the number of COVID positives?
It's not necessarily a number, but percentage, and also hospitalizations. But also there's some of the outdoor structures that are being put up. Even if you're allowed outdoor dining, people now, because it's cold, and I get it, they would have a patio initially during the summer that they were allowed to build in the street. You saw some here in Kingston, and they were great. Well, in some areas, they're now enclosing the patio and saying, well, that's still outdoor dining, and it's not.
Just down in Little Italy, I was telling, I'm not, Arthur Avenue. Sure. They got them.
But you allow enclosures outside, but there has to be a requirement of certain amount of ventilation.
Two sides have to be open, but that's only if indoor dining is not allowed. Now, if indoor dining is allowed, they can close the whole thing and we don't care. Yeah. But it's when it's outdoor dining.
What are the percentages in a restaurant throughout the state of how many tables or people?
It's all based on percentage of your occupancy. So no one is above 50% right now. Okay. If you're in a yellow zone, you're at 25%. New York City is completely not allowed to do indoor dining.
Is that the decision of the governor's office?
Yes.
Or the mayor?
That's coming once again through the Department of Health.
That's the governor.
Okay. And how does the mayor, de Blasio, get involved in any of this?
He's not.
He's not.
He just has an opinion.
If you look at his press conferences, you would think he's involved in all of it.
Yeah, he can, he was very instrumental in allowing these restaurants to put these structures on the streets, which obviously they control their streets. And and I know the mayor here was very instrumental in doing it, allowing the restaurants in Kingston, because I've heard from the restaurants how accommodating he was. But really, other than that, they don't control we only control the service because of the alcohol. That's it. Otherwise, if you're not somebody who has a liquor license, I have nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Understood.
Interesting. That's crazy. It's a crazy
And you
time.
you don't have any indication, not being a scientist, obviously, a lot of it will depend upon the success of the vaccine it getting distributed. But do you see any light at the end of the tunnel?
only because there's the vaccine, and the stuff you're hearing now isn't necessarily great as far as the lack of supply. But I gotta believe I know from what I only know the same thing you guys know because I read the papers. I know there's 2 more coming, vaccines.
2 more companies.
Yeah, and once those get online, and all indications are that they will. I think the numbers will go up.
At least in the city, it sounds like it's more of a distribution problem. But anyway.
Availability.
So what are the highlights? I mean, now that we've brought you such a downer, what are some of the highlights that you've experienced through the full 6 years?
Yeah, right. Good question.
And I just did remember that cidery because I remember the tour they gave me. It's Angry Orchard.
Oh, yes. Thank you. It was a beautiful place.
It's right on the Ulster County border, or Orange County, Ulster County border.
So well done inside.
And if you haven't been there, it's worth a trip.
It really is. Yeah.
But that's one of the great benefits is that I get to go tour these places. So when somebody opens throughout the state, I generally get invited to go visit, and and whether it's a brewery, a cidery, a vineyard, distilleries, and that's been a huge benefit because I took the job because one, I drink, and 2, I always found it interesting, the manufacturing part of it and the business itself, and it is an interesting business. It's extremely collegial. It's very tight knit. Like there's not many there's obviously an enormous amount of retailers, but the manufacturing part of it, while it's exploded in New York, is still tight knit. The brewers are one of the closest. They're all competitors with each other, but they constantly are collaborating with each other.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the distillers and also the cideries. As I said, they all use Angry Orchard and go up there, and Angry Orchard comes in and brings literally chemists in to test their product. So it's really a collegial group of people, and they're also, they're all starting businesses. So it's exciting to be around them because they're all excited to do it. You don't get into this manufacturing part of it unless you really, 1, love it, and 2, none of them are in it for the money. I can guarantee you that because.
Although some of them may think they get a big payday, maybe like some from Budweiser or some, the gigantic
being bought out by.
Oh, and some have, and some have.
Some have. It's probably very little, but still, I mean.
I wonder how long it takes for them to start a business and then have it give you any profit. Rather than
this is the guys that get into this and ladies that get into this is a labor of love, and I call them mad scientists because they're constantly testing
like Tommy
new.
Keegan, he's got like 13 degrees, that guy, and you would never know it. I mean, he's we had him on the air.
He's one of the first and also one of the most successful because you can go into Manhattan and you see his products down there.
I know. No,
it's good
ahead
stuff.
Of the curve.
He was doing this before it became popular.
We had him on with Lisa Berger. A couple of weeks ago, and he's very insightful guy, good businessman, and he's struggling right now with because this is unlike Colorado, where people drink, it's ski resorts and you can go and hang outside because you're dressed for it. Here you're not gonna like get all decked out and go out. Let's go outside and sit in 25-degree weather. I mean, even though those, and I've been to a couple of them where, the heaters are really good. I mean, and
it sounds initially like having both ends of an exterior. It sounds terrible, but just having one full section that you can stop the wind, the background of the business itself with the heaters, I guess. And from what I've learned, the good businesses, now some have been hurt, but the good businesses are still surviving. They figure it out, but that's got to prove.
I mean, when you think about that you at least 6 months or more, they were almost doing nothing.
It's
amazing any of them could survive.
Yeah, exactly. But the summertime, it seemed, as soon as June, came, it seemed like things, the pandemic the numbers went down. It was warm. People were outside. Things, and then the second wave, October, November, and then things have been in the dumpster since. But, hopefully, good weather coming. The vaccine coming. I don't know. You got to be a little. I'm thinking June we're going to see a little change. That's what I'm thinking.
I hope
Write
you're
it
right.
down.
In the summer, I think once again everything should go down because everybody's not inside again.
Right. Yeah.
So no, I don't disagree with you. I'd like to be able to leave the restaurants alone for a little while.
I can think of because you are connected to so many people as a result of your your background and also your occupation. It must be tough where you see people that are truly trying to make it work, and yet you have to be the bad guy.
Yeah, there's most of the people, particularly around here, are all trying to do the right thing. In New York City, we do get a couple that, actually in the summer, I was going down there myself because it got so out of hand. And some of them were just, in New York City, were ignoring.
Yeah. So then you got to.
They should be prosecuted aggressively.
Yeah, I mean,
know you've done that.
We have not, to my knowledge that I recall, I don't think we've done a summary suspension on anyone in Ulster County, which shows you that they're, for the most part, compliant.
Yeah, and it is easier here because obviously in the city there's not much you can do about outside dining.
Right. Well, and they've been allowed to come inside upstate, which New York City, they got shut down again in December. So,
but is that mainly because they have not shown the compliance that's necessary?
No, it's really just because of the density, from what I'm told, of the city. And the restaurants are they're more compact.
Sure.
It's not like walking into it's Old Savannah, which you can easily go at 50%. You'd still be yelling at the person across the line from you.
Liquor stores seem to have been doing okay during this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No, Tony, I drink club soda.
The guys that I know in New York that own liquor stores told me that March and April and May was like another Christmas. That's exactly what they said. They were up like 200%.
Yeah, my son works for Southern Wine and Spirits, so and he has liquor stores. His colleagues had restaurants. Those guys are unemployed, and ladies. He was fortunate that he has the liquor stores. He lives in Poughkeepsie, and so. He's been doing fine, and the liquor stores have been,
Yeah, they're going gangbusters.
They're going.
That's even in spite of the fact that the restaurants can actually sell bottles to go now because of the executive orders, but they're still going gangbusters.
So Vince, it looks like we're it looks like we're wrapping up. So is there any messages you'd like to leave us? And also
No, I'm just glad you guys found something to do in your retirement.
Hey, I'm not retired, but
I was particularly worried about the judge.
I know.
And you should continue to worry about the judge because retirement is not all it's made out to be.
Well, we appreciate you coming in. Good luck,
anytime.
Good luck, and we're proud that a Kingston native is in charge of New York State's liquor authority, and continued success and good. I know you're going to steer us in a good direction. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. Anytime. Good seeing you guys.
All right, Lawrence, take it away.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
St. Jude exceeds any expectation or any dream I could have ever had about a hospital. First was getting David here to save his life. But then I was told we wouldn't get a bill. I didn't quite process that. How's this possible? It's possible through all the wonderful people who donate.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. If you think about that, go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine.
The research here is research that we share with everyone else because overall, we want to help all children that have cancer. What makes that possible is people that give to St. Jude. They really help us to fulfill our mission, and we're so grateful to have them on our team.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline, at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
Hi, my name is Jackie Lovezzo. I'm from Lake Katrine, and I support Kingston Community Radio because it is an invaluable resource to the community and its residents.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Where am I sitting here?
There. Okay, we're back on, folks. This is Thunder Thursday. This is a lot of thunder today, man. And so this is Tony Marmo.
I'm sorry, I'll get the.
Yeah, you'll get that part.
This hosting stuff.
I know. Yeah.
It's Donald Williams.
Right.
And our guest.
Right.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jess Davis.
Let me unpack here.
Yeah. And you have a friend with you.
This is Millie.
Hi, Millie. How cute.
She's the newest staffer at the Ulster Chamber.
Nice.
She's 6 months old.
Look how cute she
adorable.
is.
She looks a little nervous being so close to Tony Martin.
I can move back a little bit.
What is the breed?
She's a long-haired Chihuahua.
Oh, but she's not yipping.
She doesn't bark. She cries when I leave her.
Yeah.
Like she'll whine a little bit, but she's not a barker. She's pretty much afraid of everything though.
Yeah.
Lately, that's like her
Got
new
a little
phase.
bit of a shake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she'll
Maybe she's
settle in.
chilly.
By the last time I was here, she was napping by the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was
That's
here with
great.
Fran and Lorraine. I
it.
brought you guys some goodies.
Oh, good.
Stay masked up, right?
Yes,
Shop
thank you.
local.
This is
This is
great.
the
How
real
cool is
deal,
that?
too.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is good stuff, man. Very good. So
What a nice thing, shop local.
and I like purple. I may wind up giving this to my wife though, because that's her favorite color is purple. Purple, I think. So, yeah, it's very cool. So tell us what's going on. Tell us what's happening in our great.
Well, I just came out of a board meeting.
Oh, thank you.
Which was pretty cool because Ward delivered his president's report and he did a recap of 2020. And wow, it has been an incredible year. So a year ago, I don't want to be too close to you guys. A year.
Well, you can bring
I don't
the mic
blame you for
towards
that
you.
at all.
Okay. A year ago, it was just life as we knew it,
Yeah.
and just to look at the way that the chamber adapted and pivoted and shifted and succeeded. We learned a lot about how to still connect, how to still reach our community, how to support our small businesses in a virtual method, and just to understand what they needed from us and then to act on it and to do it. So 2021, we're just excited to move forward. We still don't have in-person events on the agenda yet, but it's in the back of our mind, and we can't wait
Everybody's
to.
hoping, right? I mean,
Yeah,
hoping that we'll be able to gather in the summertime again. Let's say for festivals, events. I mean, I'm thinking about the Italian festival in October. I'm saying we got to have this.
Why would that be?
Because I love Italian festivals.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's always a great day in the city of Kingston.
It really is. No positive.
Look who wants to be on the radio.
Oh yeah, Millie, they're looking good, Mill. We have something to
Yeah.
say. You have something to say, Mill?
Millie probably thinks it's edible.
Not one bark.
That's amazing.
I mean, we are doing virtual events. Last week we had a business card exchange and on Zoom, and
Some of those work. right?
Yeah, we had about 30 people. It's the second Zoom meeting we've done in that fashion, and it gives people the ability to share their story. You see the face without the mask, you talk, you interact. So it's not the same as in person, but it's the next best thing. So we are continuing, and we'll be doing those on a monthly basis pretty much.
I don't think people are going to start hugging until 2022.
Well, only people outside of the Italian heritage, Tony. We tend to hug.
No, I know. I mean,
but only while we're masked.
Yeah, correct.
I don't know if you're Garth Brooks, you might be hugging.
Yeah.
What happened to
he was sang at the inauguration.
On the way out, after he sang, he hugged every past president.
He does?
And their spouse. And he had no mask on, but, I think that quick interaction is...
Yeah.
It's the more of the 5, 10, 15 minutes. But
Right.
yeah, I think I can't wait to hug again. And I'm not even a hugger, but it's
Missing it.
feels like a greeting,
Yeah.
It is. It's at least it is north of New York City. It's a greeting, but and it's so much of our heritage.
Yeah.
The fist bump.
The fist bump is
Once I stopped playing basketball, the fist.
I know. But it's
fist
better
bump.
than an elbow, because
the
the
elbow
is part
is-
of your body, I've kind of patented the look away hug. I have that. Yeah, it's a look away hug.
I do that as a handoff. I'm like, the handoff.
It's called, so I'll have
the look away hug and
Yeah,
the
it's kind
handoff.
You're not breathing, really.
It sounds like
You're
a
not-
basketball pass.
What
It's a-
is a handoff?
It's a socially distanced. So, if you ever you see somebody and they don't have their mask or you just turn around and
Yeah,
you
that's
sort of
look away hug.
And so
I mean,
you
that's-
reach your arm
whatever
and
you-
they reach their arm and you've got almost 6 feet there with that look away.
So it's apparently better than the verbal distancing, which is stay the hell away from me. Is it?
Right.
Okay, that's a
Physical
polite
distance.
way of doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. So I do that with my immediate family of folks that even my sons. So
You do
look away
look
hug.
away hugs with your kids?
I do. Yeah, I do.
I would beg. I would love to have my kids want to hug me. It's amazing, especially because one is going to be in
Well,
Vietnam.
yeah,
soon.
right, exactly. That's going to
The
be a
other
long
one is
distance hug.
somewhere in Texas. which-
So I have to say, you look amazing. I see you on social media channels, and you're always exercising, eating properly, or at least talking about that. So, what's happening? I mean, you have a new mentality, or tell the listeners that know you. I mean, you look different.
Well, thanks, Tony.
That's kind of like a look away hug.
That's
Tony.
kind of like a look away hug, and I can feel myself.
Yeah.
Get red.
So,
Yes, I don't remember you from the past, but you look
I
great.
know. I think it's just that we haven't seen each other face to face
And
so
maybe
long.
without a mask too. That could be it.
Spin instructor?
I'm a fitness instructor, so I do primarily spinning is my love, but I'm a bar instructor, a body pump strength instructor, and
Not
through
as in the bar, the other
no,
bar.
yes, I understand.
Yeah.
Vince is wrong.
it's the good bar. It's the good bar. But through COVID, I had a friend. I was teaching at 2 of the local health clubs part time in addition to the chamber, and I taught the last spinning class on March 16th at the MAC. It was a really emotional class, and they're back in action, which is great.
Oh, that's good.
But what happened through COVID, I had somebody who I helped get a bike that wanted to stay home and work out, keep active. And they said, well, can you just do a Zoom class for me? And I'm like, okay, but if I'm going to do that, I might as well maximize it and invite people. And it just grew into this small group of special people, which actually, through social media, I have somebody in Canada, and I have 3 people in Texas, and a local woman, Mary McCrindle. She's a triplet. Her one triplet rides with us from Florida. She's a councilwoman down there.
Well, we were talking about, some good things coming out of the pandemic earlier.
It's interesting. But, I did eat my way through Ulster County in 2020 as the admin of, does Don know?
I put 12 pounds on it.
You're right.
Do you know that I'm the admin of Ulster Eateries United? Do you know anything about that?
Facebook.
No, please.
So that's a group that the Chamber started on March 17th, the day that we canceled our annual St. Patrick's Day festivities. And really quickly, it was really just to help restaurants if they were going to have to shut down. It was the day indoor dining stopped. And we thought, oh, they might have some inventory. They're going to need to be able to communicate specials. And, we've got to help them. And within days, we had thousands of members. And today we have 11.
What exactly is being done? I'm sorry.
Okay, so we have 11,000, almost 400 members to date.
That's amazing.
And what we do is we opened it up past our membership. Our board approved that because we knew restaurants might not be in a position to join. And we allow people to come in, and the restaurants can post their hours. They were posting curbside, showing people what it looks like. And then we ask the community to show their dinner table at home, to show their favorite dishes. And it was sort of like the community dinner table through the hardest days of COVID, I think. So with that being said, I do my job well. So I went out there and I patronized and I supported every local eatery in every way that I could. And once you have that plate in front of you, or I would share.
It's disrespectful not to.
We did a wing fest at my house one night, and what I did is I broke up all the wings and I gave it to like a few different people, and we all did like this wing fest together virtually. But I have been very, very focused on making sure that I'm fueling my body with the right things. So in combination,
I'm not sure chicken wings is the way to go.
But she spins them off.
Yeah, but you can't outrun your diet, so you have to have that balance, But we do. Our eateries have some really incredible. Like Stonehouse does a Buddha Bowl, Front Street Tavern does a Buddha Bowl.
How do you get your mouth around that burger, whatever the hell it is?
And Linda Bradford is the owner out there. She does an incredible job with her photos.
In Accord.
What's the name?
Stonehouse?
Stonehouse Accord, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
She has
big or go home burger.
Fantastic food.
Now, my son was with me for 3 months, came from New Orleans, is heading to Vietnam, and he's a vegan. It was a struggle to find vegan food outside of Asian restaurants. It really was a struggle.
You know who, the owner of, he owns 3 restaurants, Palizada, Nick and Tony's.
We had Christmas Eve
Right,
dinner.
in Ellenville.
Out in Ellenville.
Yep.
And he also owns Country Club Grill, Eric Cafaro. Yeah. He's a vegan.
Yeah, we did from uptown, Kingston, we took takeout and had it home on Christmas Eve. Was vegan from Palizado's. It was excellent.
That's great.
I'm not a vegan. It was excellent.
I would highly suggest people go on the Facebook Ulster Eateries because it's like a Zagat's, the book that they used to make with all.
Do you review and rate?
We really promote, and so we're not like Yelp, because honestly, let's face it, these restaurants, they're working double time.
Right.
There have been. We still see today. There's some that their doors are closed temporarily. Their staff is limited. Their funding is limited. Oh, and by the way, like romaine lettuce has tripled in price. There were periods where brisket was like doubled. So we know that they might not be on their A game right now. They might not be 110%. And so we just will not allow any negativity in that group. There have been people that want to share feedback and they feel like people should know that, their margarita was a little watered down. But you know what? We just keep it positive. And overall, I think that's what keeps the people so engaged is because it is a space of positivity.
So Urban Fork, I have no, Judge, do you know where Urban Fork is?
No, this is, I'm
Hot Rocks Steakhouse.
After straightening out my Medicare issues when I get home is going to be this.
So Urban Fork is at the old Raoul's Bar on East Chester, okay? She completely changed. It's like a farmhouse, really clean inside, like white and natural wood. And Rosanna is the owner there, Rosanna Rausch. She also works at Kingston Physical
wings
Therapy.
Look delicious.
What do they specialize in?
So she specializes she does wings that are like incredible, boneless and bone-in. I haven't had the bone-in.
Chocolate chip cookies. You're
She features a different cupcake all the time. She does like a Taco Tuesday is a big deal there, but she does a really nice brunch, like sausage gravy and biscuits, the biggest French toast ever. It's like a treat when I go there.
Anything that's less than 5,000 calories a forkful, or so far.
Water. How about Hot Rocks Steakhouse?
I haven't been there yet.
Never heard of it.
Where is that?
I have no idea.
It's out in the Simmons Plaza.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, and it's a Saugerties family that owns it. It used to be a Pizza Hut, like way long
I
ago.
recall the Pizza Hut there, sure.
Yeah, and so they post some really fantastic pictures, and I think they do cotton candy there. I've seen that.
I mean, the Stonehouse Accord looks really cool inside as well. I mean, is it,
Beautiful. So
an old-
Linda, her other half is Dr. Al Roberts from SUNY, Ulster.
Alan Roberts, okay.
Yes, so she's got a handyman on premise,
no kidding.
right?
Wow.
So Linda, this is a quick story. It's a great one. Linda messaged me like the third day of, maybe the second day of dine-in being shut down, and she said, well, I guess I'm going to go, and, you could tell she was frustrated. I'm going to go and do my new job now and deliver meals, right? And all of a sudden, over the coming days, Linda had this whole shift. She opened a drive-through.
Wow.
She was doing family meals. She was doing the most amazing drinks to go. And she actually created outdoor dining. She took the back area of her property. It's right off of 209. The back area of her property. And Al dug out and brought in all the troops, and they made a full outdoor dining area, fire pits, socially distanced. They had trivia. Talk about somebody who pivoted, who adapted, and her story is a beautiful one.
That's great.
I see you brought, this half hour's going like crazy fast. Ulster County, the new directory.
I wanted you to have it. This is
Yes,
hot off the
we got
presses.
one we give it to Don because I just got mine in the mail yesterday at Ulster Savings. Where do I work? Norman Staffing.
That's okay.
Unless you just took a new position.
Just keep it local,
Bill
Tony.
Calderera, I guess I'm working for you
One
now.
too many look-off hugs.
Yeah, could.
You guys are fun. What a fun way to start a Thursday morning.
After spending 40 years doing the things the two of us have done,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
nice to be fun.
It is, absolutely. So the chamber really has done a great job kind of meeting the new need because, everything is virtual pretty much now. We were because Kingston Community Radio was a relatively new member of the chamber. We were years, and then financial issues here. But now we're back into the chamber, and I met a whole bunch of good people representing Kingston Community Radio on the new member Zoom that we had a month, 2 months
In December,
ago.
yep.
In December, yeah. And that was a lot of fun. We're going to try to get a couple of those folks on the radio that want to come on.
That's great.
And so, so it's, but, you've adapted to the times, right? The chamber has. And kudos to the board and to Ward and the staff.
Ward is adapting. Ward he's one of my favorite all-time people.
Oh, Ward.
Me too. Me too.
Talk about a great speaking voice. He's incredible. I've known Ward forever, and just a solid
Such
job.
a great job at the chamber.
And he has adapted. Adaptation was not one of the...
He lets me bring Millie to work.
Really?
And I walk in about once a week, and there's a little dog bone on my desk for her.
Aww.
You know what? This is how
Ward is going soft.
He is getting
soft,
soft, right?
He's tough and firm, but he's open-minded and he's loving, and he leads with his heart, and he truly cares, and he really is the hardest worker in the building. This past week I said, Ward, I really hope that you stay home on Monday. Like, be a leader and lead by example, because it makes me feel bad that I'm taking a day off and you're in that office. And so he has a new dog.
Oh, cool.
I think I inspired it because he has a new dog and Val has a new dog, our office manager.
And
so
the
he
names
stayed,
of the new dogs?
So his dog is Johnny, and Val's dog is Casey, and they're actually siblings.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
What
they're
type of a
King
dog is
Charles. I
Ward?
think they're King Charles.
Charles Spaniels, yeah.
They're adorable.
I have a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. It's just
they
are
both
the
got
sweetest dogs.
They both got the black and brown, so they're like. And his sister-in-law got a tricolored, and Ward has adopted half the litter into this town.
Those dogs, the Cavaliers, the King Charles Spaniel, that's a dog that is brought into children's hospitals because these dogs
Kind
are
and caring.
just so sweet.
So special.
Yeah.
So you have, I think, flourished in this role as a champion. I mean, this is kind of like, and you and I go back a little bit and a couple different jobs that you've had, but you have flourished in this role. I mean, the Chamber's so fortunate to have you.
Thank you,
Really.
Tony.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. I just, you're such a great representative, so upbeat, so positive, so pro-business, but pro-people.
Well, sometimes I find that I say the things out loud that I need to hear. And I said this to my spin class as we did an intentions ride coming into the new year. And I said, you'd think that, I'm just this uplifting, I've got all these positive thoughts that I wake up with.
Energy.
But you know what it is? I think I say the things that I want others to say or that I need to hear. And so there are days where I wake up and I think, oh my gosh, can these restaurants just take one more week of this? And instead of vocalizing that, I say, how can we help these restaurants? What do they need? Or let me connect and say, hey, hanging in there, how are you? And when I took this job opportunity, it was really part-time, and I was actually going full-time March 21st to do none other than take over event planning.
Right.
So March 17th, I was like...
And now it's membership.
Well, I was membership, but I was going to expand into full-time, and I thought, well, Ward, what's going to happen because I don't have any events to plan?
Monthly mixers, they could get 300, 400, 500 people at them sometimes. Amazing. Gigantic numbers.
I know I never went to any of the mixers.
Well, you're going to have to come sometime.
Yeah, you're going to have to come.
Now that you're retired and having fun.
We'll have
now that I can say what I feel.
And we'll have a little KCR corner.
We could do that.
We can have a little
We could do
KCR
that,
corner.
as long as I don't have to host.
You don't have to host,
Good.
but we will
Perfect.
we're always mining, looking for potential guests.
But I will introduce you to everyone. I will say, you got to meet Don. He's great.
You know what happens with me, Jess, because of what I've done?
Yeah.
I will go places and people will say Judge Williams or D.A. Williams, and right away, or I'll say, you look very familiar. And the response I get is, stay away. So you never know the response, but I would love that. I will make a mixer once they start up
We
again.
have an incredible chamber. I call it a family.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it is.
Really
I
is.
grew up, I started at Bank of America as a teller, and I was there for over 10 years. I left there as a manager, and I leveraged this chamber to really know my community with a large bank and make it personal and make connections, and it was fantastic.
The one connection I did have with the chambers was you had a leadership committee, and they used to ask me to speak. It really was a great experience. It was very hard getting away from what I did, but what a great experience.
Yeah.
And then, to what initially was my chagrin, later on it was kind of made me feel good. They actually wrote comments on the speakers.
Yes.
And I went, my God, I feel like I'm back in
Yeah,
law
being
school
graded.
being graded. But
Yeah,
what really nice, positive results. And what a good thing to do a leadership.
So I was in the 2015 class, and that was before I was an employee of the chamber, and I was an ambassador. And I was there in your chambers. Paul O'Neill did a.
Did I? I think I stopped. They stopped inviting me once I became a judge, I believe.
Well, we were in the courthouse, and we were up in the very highest. I think Holly spoke.
The ceremonial courtroom?
Yeah, and it was a really neat experience. And you know what?
The citizenship, is that where they? No.
It's same place they do the naturalizations. Yeah, that's the ceremonial courtroom, which is an absolutely beautiful, historic building.
Beautiful.
It's a great courtroom.
So, and as a local person, and a lot of times it's people that just have potential that get put through that program and they get connected and inspired. I remember Elliot Auerbach speaking, and
it's a great
and he
place.
just inspired me.
I want to give an opportunity we have only a couple minutes. Contact information for anyone who wants to know more about the chamber, please, and then an upcoming event that might be Zoomable.
So to join the chamber or to learn about joining the chamber, and I just want to share that we are making it a very easy way to be inclusive. So we can work with a small business that wants to join and be a part. We're happy to do that. You can call the chamber office. It's 845-338-5100. Ask for Carol, ask for me, Jess Davis. We both are partners in the membership team. Emails are all of our first names at ulsterchamber.org. So you could email us. However, I'm on Facebook, Instagram all the time. We do have a breakfast on January 26th, Congressman Delgado, and we live stream that on our Facebook
That's next Wednesday?
and our YouTube.
Today's the 21st.
Hold on, let me look.
28th, it's Tuesday.
It's the 26th, yeah, Tuesday. And that's at 9 a.m. And if you miss it, we always have it available for playback on our
People
Facebook.
access that as through Facebook or
Yeah,
Chamber website?
You can access in the moment on Facebook and YouTube. If you miss it, go back. It's on Facebook, and we typically have it on our website for a period. It really gives people the capability that are working and tied to the desk at 9 a.m. or with a client meeting to be able to go back in and see it later. We typically reach thousands of people. I just want to tell you again, the Ulster County Guide, if anyone wants that, they're not going out for distribution yet.
Okay.
They're available. We have them in the office.
Okay.
So they're beautiful. It tells some really great stories inside. Carol did another
it's
beautiful
amazing
job with
job.
it. Yeah, it's a full-on guide, even in the midst of COVID.
Yeah, and it's important. I think people still need printed material, even though everything is, on the net now. And but
Well, especially old timers like you, Tony. But
yeah,
yes,
exactly. It's reading material in the parlor when we.
It's also nice to have something like this out on your coffee table.
Yeah, right, in the parlor room or something. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much
Jess
for
Davis,
having me today.
Thanks for coming on, and
Pleasure.
we'll
Nice
get you
meeting
back
you.
again.
You
And
too.
Does Millie have her own email address? Millie at ulsterchamber.
Ulsterchamber.org, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
No?
it's just like send treats this way.
All right.
So thanks, guys.
Thank
I'd
you,
be
Jess
happy to
Davis
come on
from-
anytime. There's
Great.
so many good things
Super.
happening
Thanks.
here.
We'll call you, get you involved. Don, thank you. It was great.
It's always my pleasure, Tony.
Good time. Went 2 hours that go like lightning fast.
Well, today they went like thunder. don't do the roar, please.
All right. No, I won't. Lawrence, thank you. Thanks to all the listeners. Thanks to our underwriters. Please continue to support KCR, mykcr.org. God bless everybody out there, and God bless America.
Thank you for sharing the morning with us and participating in Kingston Community.